She was balancing a tray of drinks in one hand, wiping sweat from her brow with the other, when she heard the small voice that would change her life. "I like her, Daddy." The words came from a little girl, no older than 6, sitting at table 7. Her messy curls bounced as she smiled at the waitress with pure, innocent joy. The father looked up, surprised, then turned to see who had caught his daughter's attention. His eyes landed on Emily, hair pulled back, sleeves rolled to her elbows, moving with the rhythm of someone used to being overlooked. Emily heard the girl, but didn't stop. She couldn't afford to pause. Rent was due in 3 days, her mother's medication was running low again, and this double shift was her only hope of covering everything. She flashed the little girl a quick smile before turning away, not wanting to let herself hope or dream. Hope was dangerous when you were always one step away from everything falling apart. But something lingered in that moment. When Emily returned with their food, the little girl tugged at her dad's sleeve again. "She's nice and pretty. Can we come back tomorrow?" The father, Daniel, chuckled softly, embarrassed. "Maybe, sweetheart. She seems busy." Emily set the plates down with a practiced politeness. "You've got a sweet daughter," she said softly. "She reminds me a lot of my younger self." Daniel smiled. "She doesn't usually talk to strangers. You must be special." Emily gave a small laugh, the kind that hides exhaustion. "I doubt that, sir. Just trying to make it through the day." The girl's words stayed with Emily long after they left. She didn't know their names, but the father's warm smile and the girl's honesty stirred something in her. In a world where she often felt invisible, it meant more than she let herself admit. They came back the next week, and again the week after that. Daniel was a regular now. He always asked for Emily's section, always ordered the same for his daughter, grilled cheese with no crust. Emily noticed how kind he was, how he never complained when service was slow or when his daughter spilled her drink. He listened when Emily spoke and looked her in the eyes, not through her. She wasn't used to that. One night, after her shift ended, she found him waiting outside with a cup of coffee. "For you," he said. "You look like you needed it." She hesitated. She didn't want to read into anything, but she took the cup. "You don't have to do that," she said. "I know," Daniel replied, "but I wanted to." They sat on the bench outside the diner, steam rising from their cups in the cold Toronto air. Emily shared bits of her life, how she dropped out of school to care for her sick mom, how she worked nights and studied during the day. She didn't want pity, and Daniel didn't offer any, just quiet understanding. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, carefully, a bond formed, not just between Daniel and Emily, but between Emily and his daughter, Sophie. The little girl would run to hug her, drawing hearts for her on napkins and leaving them on the table. One day, Sophie looked up at Emily and said, "You'd be a good mommy." Emily didn't know what to say. She went home that night and cried. Not because she was sad, but because for the first time in a long time, someone saw her as more than just a waitress or a caretaker or a struggling girl with too much on her shoulders. But Emily was scared. She'd built her life around survival, not love. She didn't know if she could open herself to something that beautiful and that fragile. Daniel waited. He never pushed. He kept showing up, kept listening, kept being kind. And when Emily's mother passed away quietly one morning, Daniel was there. He helped her with the funeral, held her hand when she didn't have words, stayed up all night with her when the silence in her apartment became too loud to bear. A few months later, they walked with Sophie along Lake Ontario, ice cream in their hands and wind in their hair. Sophie skipped ahead, then turned back, calling, "Come on." Emily stopped. She looked at Daniel. "Why me?" she asked. "You could be with anyone. Someone with less baggage. Someone whole." Daniel stepped closer, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "You're not broken, Emily. You're strong. You're brave." And Sophie was right the first time. "There's something special about you." Tears welled in her eyes, but for the first time, she didn't hide them. He took her hand. "Let me be here for you. You don't have to carry everything alone." And in that moment, standing under a pale Canadian sky, Emily let herself believe that maybe, just maybe, kindness could heal old wounds. That love didn't have to come like lightning. It could arrive quietly, persistently, through a child's words and a man's steady heart. She was just a waitress. He was just a father. But together, they built something extraordinary. And sometimes, all it takes is one little girl saying, "I like her, Daddy."